PlayStation is raising prices on their games. Hogwarts Legacy is under hot water yet again, and you won't believe the latest news on Star Wars Battlefront 3.
But first, a new Nintendo console has leaked yet again, this time from 3 different sources, and we're going to dive into it right now on the latest episode of Gamers Lounge. All right, I know it seems we hear about this every other week, but have you seen the latest batch of Switch 2/Pro leaks and rumors?
I actually haven't.
Marvel leaker Cult of the Ember actually was the first up, saying that a new Nintendo console would be released at the end of this year. Now, this is also making people think that there could be a Marvel game maybe tied to the launch of this thing that we don't know about. And we know that Nintendo had Marvel games in the past, right? They had Ultimate Alliance 3, which has yet to come to any other console or PC. They definitely have that connection with Marvel, so this makes a lot of sense. What do you think about that first one?
I don't think that we see a Marvel game come to Nintendo Switch. Even if there's a new console, I just don't see a connection.
You don't? Even with Ultimate Alliance 3?
No. I think most Marvel games will stick to PlayStation at this point.
It's just kind of weird that a Marvel insider was the one to leak a new Nintendo console. And by the way, the keywords there were new Nintendo console, not Switch 2 or Pro. The second leak was from Jeff Grubb. He's saying that a Switch 2 reveal would happen later this year for a release also in the fall. But one thing that was interesting about this is that after the fact, he said that this might not be a Switch 2 or a Switch Pro, but maybe something in between, something of a new experience. What do you think about that?
I don't know. I think the Switch style works really well. It's that sweet spot between handheld and home console, you know what I'm saying? So I think that Nintendo has a grasp on the handheld space. It just needs to be more powerful.
Yeah, for sure. We'll dive into what we think this new Nintendo console should have. But first, let me get to the third leak. Now, this one comes from a guy with a very interesting name. He goes by Retail Uncle. Now, you've probably heard about this guy. He leaks a lot of hardware from warehouses out in Japan when they're manufacturing new consoles. Now, in the past couple days, he's talked a lot on Twitter about not only a PS5 Pro, which is another thing that we've heard about, but also, you guessed it, a new Nintendo console also being manufactured. But what's interesting from his leak is that he has a couple launch lineup games that he's saying are going to come alongside this console. He named Mario, Zelda, and Splatoon. Zelda and Splatoon, those have to be next gen, remasters or whatever. But I fully believe the Mario is a new Mario game because we're well overdue for that. What do you think?
Yeah, it's been far too long since we've seen a solid Mario game outside of the Mario Odyssey. But again, that was released with the Switch.
They could be repeating history again and releasing a new, mainline Mario alongside this thing, but it does baffle me. And maybe there was some delays because of COVID. We don't know what happened there. But the best marketing plan they could have had with this thing was to release this new Nintendo console with the new mainline Mario to go alongside the Mario movie, which is taking the world by storm right now.
Yes and no. I think that yes, you would have seen good sales and a lot of hype, but I don't think that they need to latch onto the Mario movie to retain hype for a new console. I think a lot of people are going to go crazy about it regardless.
Yeah, you could be right. I mean, it doesn't matter, honestly, when this thing launches, unless it's a Wii U type situation where they innovate in the wrong ways and there's not a solid lineup there. But from what these leaks are saying, I mean, if you're launching with a next-gen version of Tears of the Kingdom, a next-gen version of Splatoon, which is their big multiplayer game, and a new mainline Mario, that's a pretty strong lineup, especially if we see more games get the remaster treatment on this new console. We've talked about this before, and we could talk about what we think is going to be on this new console, Dalton, but this thing needs to be way more powerful. Am I right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm thinking about it now with a lot of these leaks. Do you think that there's a chance that this is a at-home console?
So that was my thought too, right? Because we have the Switch Lite, which is only portable.
Yeah.
Cannot connect to a TV. So a lot of people thought, okay, maybe they'll make just a home console that would be more powerful, that wouldn't be portable. But then he's saying the keywords here, new experience. And an at-home console is not a new experience. That's been done for decades now. But I do hope that they keep the idea of the Switch alive, right? I hope this new console does exactly the same thing with even more bells and whistles. And of course, more power, for the love of God.
Well, let's be honest. Ever since the GameCube, between the GameCube to the Wii to the Wii U to now the Nintendo Switch, it's been a drastic change of what that console actually is because they're trying to constantly innovate. Let's hop into the next one. Did you hear about the new Hogwarts Legacy controversy?
I just heard about that awesome Quidditch game coming out.
The game looks great, don't get me wrong, but no consoles or price or release date were announced. And the big one there is the price. Do you think it's valid to charge $70 for this game when it likely should have been a feature within Hogwarts Legacy? It makes me think that they intentionally held back Quidditch from the game, so you would have to buy this standalone.
Dude, that is totally fair. That's definitely what it looks like, because we know that Quidditch was worked on for this game, and they said they scrapped it because they couldn't get it to work. It makes that excuse kind of seem like part of my French bullshit.
100%.
Now we're getting the standalone game, which could possibly be upwards of $70. So you're paying full price for a game that should have been a feature in one of 2023's biggest games.
It almost seems intentional based on the release window. Think about it. You had Hogwarts Legacy release this year, and within 3 months, you're already getting a multiplayer version of Quidditch. I don't know. Another gripe that I have with this game is the art style. I wish that they kept the art style just like Hogwarts Legacy. It looked great.
It's giving mobile game. You know
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. This should have been in Hogwarts Legacy. It seems kind of like a slap in the face not to do that, and then you're gonna make players pay for it. I think if they come out and they're like, hey, it's a $20 game, or it's free to play, I think that could be worth it.
Yeah, the right call here for me is free to play. Moving on to the next story, Dalton, and this is kind of depressing, but Star Wars Battlefront 3 was canceled 2 yards from the finish line. This isn't some insider or anything like that. This is somebody who worked at Pandemic Studios. It says the game was 99% done and canceled. Can you believe that?
How can you do that? Battlefront 2 was a pretty good game, had a lot of players.
Yeah.
A lot of people asked for Battlefront 3. You put all that time, money, and effort into this game, and you're essentially about to go gold, and you stop?
If you're a Star Wars fan like me, you've been going through this for years. Battlefront 3 and now Battlefront 4, which we'll touch on in a second.
Oh God.
To 1313, to Amy Hennig from Uncharted fame, her Star Wars game. We've been through it, man. All that stuff has been canceled. Some of them really far in development. This one probably the furthest along. So far along, in fact, that they started concepting Star Wars Battlefront 4. Now, this is where it gets insane, because going off this concept art, it was going to be this whole what if situation with different versions of fan favorite Star Wars characters. I'm talking Dark Mace Windu, Redeemed Vader, Dark Luke Skywalker, Dark Obi-Wan, and it would have been so cool to see what kind of story they would have told there, to use these awesome looking characters in multiplayer, which was their bread and butter, and just to see that all get scrapped kills my soul.
Finally, to the big hitter, PlayStation is marking up the prices of their games on Steam. Did you see this?
No way, are you kidding me?
Yeah, Sony raised prices in the following countries: Argentina, Canada, Chile, China, Colombia, Japan, and South Korea, with the games being affected: Sackboy, Returnal, Marvel Spider-Man Remastered, Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales, Horizon Zero Dawn, Days Gone, and God of War.
You gotta be kidding me, dude.
Yeah, like let's say for Canada, prices went up from $65 to now $80. And these aren't games that are just like newly released.
Is it hitting the US?
No, luckily it's not hitting the US. Think about it though, if it hit the US, it would have been a much bigger deal because the US complains the most about video games.
Hey, that's true. And remember, there was, I think, a price hike on the PlayStation 5 console itself.
I think it's just about all of those countries as well.
Yeah. You said Spider-Man and Spider-Man Miles Morales. Are you putting the dots together like I am?
Yeah, after being removed from PlayStation Plus in the month of May now. What is Sony doing? It seems like almost like they're trying to scam their players into buying the game again because they want to relive it before Spider-Man 2 comes out.
Believe it or not, still people that haven't played it yet. So this is like affecting people who were gonna play Spider-Man and Miles Morales up until the launch of the new game.
You're increasing prices and also removing it from PlayStation Plus subscribers that are paying you monthly. So you don't want people to play Spider-Man anymore, or what's the deal here?
Just imagine if you're transitioning from the Xbox Series consoles or from PC and you want to get into Spider-Man, knowing that those games used to be free with your PlayStation Plus subscription, you now have to pay for them as well if you want to get the full story leading up to Marvel Spider-Man 2. Kind of sucky.
It feels like a cash grab, I'm not gonna lie. I'm surprised they didn't do this with God of War.
Yeah.
God of War 2018 didn't get this treatment, but yet Spider-Man is. This has been the business model of the console companies like Nintendo, PlayStation, and Xbox up until very recently. Xbox has changed their model to be subscription based and not necessarily we gotta sell a large amount of games to be able to make up for the console loss. That's still PlayStation's model. And now they have to also compete with the business model that Xbox has brought in, which is that subscription. And that's why we see a 3-tier system.
All right, that's gonna do it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to lick that subscribe button. And yes, I said lick.
Is that the outro?